guys, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it. You already know. Like a torta with the bad habit. Bye up, bye up. This is a very good one. Let's get to it. Welcome back to the channel, and if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content that the gun stays kicking, and I appreciate the support. I'm very humbled by it. Hey, don't stare at the Grizzly Adams beard. It just is, I'm letting it do what it does. Until baby Emmanuel is found, I'm not even going to comb this motherfucker, right? We're just going to let it go. There's more important things than Gun's raggedy ass beard. Guy said, "Oh, at least comb your beard if you're going to talk about this." Why? Is that going to help find the baby? If it is, I'll get to combing right now. Jake Haro has confessed again, right? He's confessed a jailhouse confession. Now, was it extracted by illegal means, or can this motherfucker just shut his mouth? I hope he doesn't. We truly hope he doesn't, because all information is good information when it concerns helping baby Emmanuel be found and definitely putting him to rest the way he deserves. Finally to be put to rest the way he deserves. Finally to be loved and embraced by the community, by people who didn't know this baby in life, but definitely love him in death, right? Now, the law enforcement used a slick move that I've seen used time and time again called the Perkins rule, Perkins law, right? It's a situation where they take a jailhouse snitch, a confidential informant, someone who's within the jail system, or even an undercover officer, and they place this person in a cell with a suspect that has not yet been truthful or divulged enough information for them to literally charge them. This was utilized, and it caused a jailhouse confession to come from the fucking dirty mouth of Jake Haro, right? Jake Haro cannot keep his mouth shut, and that's going to be his demise, and I hope it is. You know, I don't ever wish and promote jailhouse snitches, because a lot of them do what they do or say what they say for their own selfish intentions and greed. But in this case, this man made a jailhouse confession to, whether it was law enforcement or just another convict that was locked up, an inmate. Will they utilize it against them? Absolutely. Can they use this in court against them if it was obtained by illegal means? They cannot. But this Perkins rule that they have used for years, several years now, is legal, right? Now, this entails video footage as well as audio footage, meaning that they could send this person in wired up to get a confession from Jake. It's being alleged that Jake told this guy the story about the unaliving of baby Emmanuel. According to Jake and what Jake has said and what's being put out there, and it's a lie. And I can tell you guys right now it's a lie, and we're going to break it down. We're going to go right into the details and fuck the shit out of this, right? Because it's a lie. Jake can't stop lying. Nothing that comes out of this man's mouth, not even a man, this monster, nothing that comes out of this monster's mouth has been the truth yet. Nothing. Not at all. His beady eyes, his dirty looking face, this guy is just beyond. He deserves every single thing that he has coming, and I hope it comes hard and fast, right? Kind of like me with my old lady. Now, I'm going to say this about Jake. He tells this confidential informant that he rolled over on the baby when the baby was in bed with him and Rebecca. I call bullshit. Bullshit. Look, I got 4 daughters. All 4 of my daughters at one point in time were newborns, and they slept in the middle of me and a baby's mother. Okay? Never once did I ever roll over on my child. I always waited as a concerned and an appropriate parent, right? A real parent. I waited till my daughter would be asleep, and then I would move her to her bassinet or crib, which was right beside us. We never let our babies sleep, because there has been cases in the past where people have rolled over, unfortunately, on their child. Now, if this is the case, like Jake is saying, what is a parent's responsibility? As a parent, you roll over on your baby's not breathing, you freak the fuck out, you call 911 immediately, you call whoever you have to call. Hey, an accident happened. They will be able to tell by the autopsy, by whatever they do, they'll be able to tell if this baby was dead due to asphyxiation. You know, what is it called? Asphyxiation. And if she had, or the baby had, she or he had pressure applied to them, right? And they'll be able to tell. And it would be an unfortunate accident, and you would bury your child, and you would have to live with that forever. Things like that happen. But in this case, what makes a man roll over on a baby and immediately go send your lady to make this story up, to buy a hacksaw, to buy lye, to dismember your child, to throw your child in the trash? Because that's what he told this jailhouse informant, that he rolled over on the baby. He was scared. So they threw the baby in a trash bin, and now the baby can be at the landfill, and that he lied. Okay, he lied to the officers and took them in a direction in the area for whatever reason. I call bullshit on that too. I don't believe he threw his baby in the trash. I believe he's lying. I believe he's trying to do anything he can. And even in talking to a jailhouse snitch, he's lying. This man doesn't know what truth is anymore. You know, he's been lying so much and been giving a slap on the wrist that he thinks he can continue to do it. What type of individual is in a cell with your cell? You know, most of the time you might put a little tapatio on a little story and make it sound good. You know, everyone in jail never lost. Nobody lost a fight in jail. No, according to them, their cellie thinks they're Superman, and he's Superman too. You never know you find out who the winner is until you guys have a discrepancy and get down, right? And then you know the guy's other stories were just all bullshit. But I ran into a lot of heroes. No one wants to be a zero. Nobody loses. And in this case, Jake Haro is, maybe he was scared, or maybe he just doesn't want to admit to himself what really happened. And he figures if he puts this story out there in the wind, it might catch fire. I'll tell you guys right now, it's a lie. He did not roll over on his child. He killed that baby. Okay, he killed that baby, dismembered that baby, and disposed of him, whichever way he did it. And he's trying to blame Rebecca for it. And she's going to be, she's going to be looked at. Now, notice that this guy is basically admitting, but not saying Rebecca's name at the same time to the jailhouse snitch, but he's definitely going to do that. Now, was this confession extracted by a slick and slimy way by a law enforcement officer? I mean, it's a little shady the way it looks, but I don't give a shit. When it comes to any person who harms a child or kills a child, do whatever you got to do to get him to confess to this shit, because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters now is finding baby Emmanuel. I don't care about how much time Jake gets. I don't care about what happens to him while he's in prison. I'll be doing a video on that, on what could happen to him when he goes to the SNY yard. Be looking out for that either later on today or this afternoon. This afternoon or tomorrow, depending upon what I have to do with my children today, because I'm a good father, right? And my kids always come first before YouTube and before anything else. But Emmanuel is considered one of my children now, just like he should be considered one of yours. We have to do everything we can do to help lay this baby to rest, to give him some justice, to find out what happens, because his father definitely is not telling the truth or assisting law enforcement and sending them in the right direction. Now, what they did, I've had homeboys go through it, and I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story. I had a homeboy. Okay, he was locked up on a murder case, and his case was pretty flim-flam. It was a lot of circumstantial evidence. They really had no witnesses. They had witnesses that seen him leaving the vicinity. They heard shots fired. They seen his car leaving. So he was arrested based upon that. It was gang related. They thought, okay, it was between a northerner and a bulldog. We got this guy. He was arrested. He went through trial. I was in county jail with them. I was fighting my own different cases. He was the homie. Grew up with me. Was younger than me. Was my boy. Everyone in the hood knew what time it was. The streets talk. We knew what he did and didn't do. But we're not speaking on it. That was his case. It was a big trial in Merced County at the time, right? And he actually what happens was one day they come and they tell him, hey, the cell that they're in is leaking. They're going to fix the cell. So they put homeboys in different cells. We had 8-man cells, 2 over here, 1 over here. They were able to have enough cells to put all these guys. Because of his high-profile case, which wasn't very high-profile, but they considered it within that county, they moved him to the front of the county jail and put him in a cell, which was basically with another guy. So he gets in there immediately. He's on his gang relationship. Dude's a young northerner. Oh, I'm young. Why did they got you up here? I don't know, bro. They're talking about the cells messed up or whatever. He's like, all right, cool. The stories matched up. So as he got to talking or whatever, this youngster kept asking him questions. Now, the homeboy's hip to the skip. He's not fucking dumb. He didn't just fall off the wagon, right? He's not fucking a new booty. He knows what time it is. So he realizes that this dude is trying to get information from him, so he don't tell him shit. What little he did tell him That guy reported. Eventually, they moved the homeboy back to the cell. They got the cell back together. And of course, here comes a confidential informant that extracted whatever information he did say before he figured him out, right? It was inadmissible in court. To come to believe it, this little youngster only had 6 months to do and was willing to give up the ghost for 6 months. And the homeboy was looking at life. Now, the homeboy eventually did go to trial and had a hung jury. He came back. He had already been in county jail 3.5, 4 years. His lawyer, the DA, offered him a deal. Because of the hung jury, they wanted to retry him. They offered him a deal. Look, we'll offer you 10 years right now with 85%, one strike. Take that, run that. The homie said, Charlie. And I was pleading and begging with him, take it, bro, take it, take it. Because everyone knew he was guilty as fuck. Take it, right? He said, hell nah, bro. They don't got enough to convict me this time. They're not going to give me next time, right? Boom. He went to trial. They flipped his old lady. He got 40 to life. That's how it goes down. Jake, what he said may not be admissible in court. But this Perkins rule that they have, they were able to wiggle around because it's been utilized in several different county jails. I think the one county jail where they had a little bit of an issue was in Orange County. Someone contested this information that they gathered and said it was illegally obtained, and they were able to overturn their conviction. Now, as far as will this be used in Jake's defense, will they say that they try to trick him into a confession and all that? I don't think the officers necessarily are going to use that. They're just using this to get more information so that they can find baby Emmanuel, because I think everybody's focus right now is on finding the baby. See, in order for them to get a rock hard, solid, I said rock hard, and I thought about my old lady, but to get a rock hard, solid conviction, they're definitely going to need a body. Now, you can get a conviction just on circumstantial evidence, and I believe Rebecca and Jake will be convicted on circumstantial evidence because honestly, and I truly hope so, that the baby is found, but I don't know if baby Emmanuel will be found. Again, I have an issue with this paperwork where they're calling the baby Baby Doe. We know Emmanuel's name. He has a name. Say his name loud and proud. This Baby Doe shit, they're trying to be too politically correct. You're making him sound like an object rather than a person, rather than a baby, rather than a child. And I don't like it. And I don't agree with it. And I ain't going with that. It's baby Emmanuel, period, in my household. And that's just the way it's going to be. Now, as far as them obtaining this information, is it going to help? Not necessarily, because Jake is lying. He did not roll over on the baby. I don't believe he threw the baby in the trash, not the one he's saying he did. I believe he's utilizing any information or doing whatever he can to manipulate. He's not dumb. He's been through this before. You got to understand, this man beat his child. What they should be focused on, not necessarily Jake and Rebecca. They're going to fuck up and tell on each other, and definitely Rebecca's going to start speaking on it, because right now, I'm going to give you guys the real. This is what I think. This is what I project. This is what's going to happen. Jake is going to get life without the possibility, because he's already admitted to killing his child twice, whether it was accidental or by force. He's admitted it twice, right? To law enforcement and a jailhouse snitch. What's going to happen is he's going to get life without the possibility of parole, or even because this case is so sensationalized and national news, he's going to get the death penalty. This case, he is now the new Scott Peterson. This guy is now the new worst monster father in America. It's becoming bigger and bigger every day, and it needs to be. The focus should be on finding the baby, preventive measures to stop this, and that fucking judge who let him out in the first place. I'm glad. I watched the press conference. I'm glad that law enforcement basically put that judge on the spot. That judge that handled the first case with Jake Haro and his daughter should have never shown leniency to an animal like that. He's an animal. Straight up. There's people that have went to prison for lesser charges. Gang members that get ridiculed and talked about, and enhancement after enhancement because it's for the benefit of a gang, they suppose, right? You can steal a payday candy bar and they'll say it's at the benefit of a gang and they'll give you a 10-year enhancement. And you let this monster who abused his daughter, his own flesh and blood, get out on a suspended sentence? If you don't just stop it, that judge right there, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and say he needs to be disbarred and everything, but he definitely needs to be looked at and scrutinized in the cases that he is judging, because he's not very judged. He should be more judgmental, especially when it comes to children. When there's children involved, we need to put all the bullshit to the side and focus on giving that child justice and focus on doing what's right for that child. And if it means removing that child from a home, if it means fucking giving them life, then fuck it, do it. I don't care. People are crying, oh man, they should have never sent a jailhouse informant. That's illegal. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Jake is inhuman. He no longer has the same rights and privileges that we have. He shouldn't. He does, unfortunately, by a technicality of being alive, but he shouldn't. If Emmanuel didn't get his justice, Jake shouldn't get his, right? Jake should not be, he shouldn't eat, but, you know, I'm not there with the key to turn on him. But he did give a jailhouse confession. That confession will be used in some form or fashion to convict him, whether it's used in court, you know, strategically, but it will be used. Now, this is what I expect to happen. Like I said, Jake, I believe, will get life without the possibility or the death penalty. More than likely, it's looking like a death penalty case if they find the body. If they don't, he'll probably get life without, right? With Rebecca, I believe Rebecca's going to start to tell the truth, and hopefully she's smart enough to look out for her own best interest. That piruja, I don't have no respect for her at all, and I wish her just as much as I do Jake, right? But I believe that she's not a moron, even though she looks like one and acts like one, to let a man do that to her child and participate to the capability, to the capacity that she did. But I believe that she's going to start informing on Jake. Blame game's going to be both ways, and I believe she'll probably escape with a little 20-year bid, probably do 13, 14 years. I know that's going to hurt some people's hearts, but that's just what I figure, and that's what the way it is. I hope that they both get life without the possibility and not the death penalty, and I'll explain to you why. Death penalty encompasses a lot of incentive and reward. A lot of these people that are given the death penalty, you might think, wow, man, that's tragic. They have to sit there and wait to be put to death, right? But that usually never happens, very rarely. In fact, I believe the last person put to death, correct me if I'm wrong, was Stanley Tookie Williams, right? I don't remember another one after that. There could have been. But there's not, and they're not doing the death penalty anymore. Thank you, Gavin Newsom, Barroso, right? So now what you have going on, and I'm not a proponent for the death penalty, but I'm more of a proponent for an animal like Jake to get life without, because you're dying slowly and you're going to be moved from place to place, and there's going to be a lot of action at people getting on that ass. And that's what we're all hoping for. Just the way that he treated his baby and his wife and everyone else around him and the community and the EDD office and the meth and everything that he did and he used and he used and he used. Well, now it's his turn to get abused, right? So I wanted to do this video based upon what's going on. Make sure you tap into Dubs. He did an extensive video on this already. And I thought I put my input on it, put my little 2 cents in, put my little Gunner twist on it. But you guys already know what it is, man. We're in a fight right now. This is a fucking 12-round fight. And we're in the 10th round right now. And we're going for the knockout. And the knockout is finding baby Emmanuel. We do that, we win all the belts. Okay? We need to find this baby. It's time for these parents to confess. I don't care if they have to go in there and break that motherfucker's whole arm. We need a confession because we need to find this child. Will we ever find baby Emmanuel? There's so many outlandish stories. He doesn't even exist. This is just pictures. This is the family never seen him. This is not real. There's a baby out there. That is a fact. I've seen pictures of baby Emmanuel on that fucking dumb stomach, laying him on his chest, right? Acting like he was the good old father, probably pinching him. He's a weirdo, right? But I will say we need to have justice for Emmanuel. I will be doing a live probably tomorrow. And it's going to be a different type of live than I've ever done. I implore to you people that support this cause to find baby Emmanuel and that have love in your heart for your children. It's going to be very informative on preventive measures to help children that are in these type of situations and how we need to hold people like the judge, CPS, and all these different organizations accountable. You know, straight up. Look at my dog in the back. You know, I wouldn't even do what this guy did to my dog. This dude, Jake, is an animal. I don't care if this was illegally gotten information. I'm glad they got it. Okay? All that snitch shit and jailhouse this and whatever goes out the window when it comes to a baby. And for those of you that support that, you're in the same boat as Jake. For those of you that are on my comments talking about that snitch activity, stay in your own lane, mind your own business. You and An Tira are fucking ratones, and you guys are telling, and you guys just want to see people go down. You're not for the raza. Fuck you. Right? There it is there. I couldn't have put it no better. Anyways, with that being said, let me know what you guys think, man. Should is this illegally gotten? Should they have done this? Or do you think law enforcement finally made the right move? And let's do a video about the judge, man. I want to get down to the bottom of this judge who conveniently let a monster that choked his daughter, beat her to where she has 3% brain capacity, blind, cannot walk, cannot eat, cannot take care of herself, was able to walk free out of those doors after serving 1 day in jail. Wow. This shit is crazy. He needs to be held accountable. Jake, most definitely, first and foremost, as well as Rebecca. We'll get to you, bitch. Don't worry, right? And we need to hold accountable that judge. And also, we need to hold accountable Boogie Nights, that slimeball lawyer who definitely worked out a good deal for his client. Family friend? Guess what? The babies are part of the family. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly believe in. And that's the betterment of all people. And why? Because that's the bottom line. Because Gun said so.